Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching Unbiased Magic Reviews, the most objective magic review channel here on YouTube. I hope that you had a happy new year. Many of you have noticed that I haven't done a magic review in a couple of months. I had a couple of things going on, and I was also working on my own magic and mentalism, coming up with new concepts and ideas, many of which I hope to share with you here on my channel in the near future. Anyway, today I thought I would review Julien Losa's Billets for the Modern Mindreader Volume 5. This is his newest installment, and I've been road testing the material for the past 3 months, just having a blast with it. I think that you guys are going to really like it a lot, which is why I thought I would review it here. You can pick it up for $15, and I will leave a link below in the description where you can get that. If you've been watching my reviews on this channel, then you've probably seen some of the other reviews I did on his other volumes, and this volume, the material is just as good, if not better. I think that most of you will probably use, if not all 3 routines, probably at least 2 out of the 3 routines. I've used all 3, and I think that they're excellent. Absolutely excellent. So you will get about a little bit over an hour of instructional video where Julien Losa goes over each of the 3 routines. You will see studio performances for the first 2, and then the last routine, he actually shows you the live performance where he performs it on the cruise ship where he's paid to perform. So just think about that for a minute, that Julien Losa is sharing with you a routine from his working set. Like, that's worth the price of admission alone right there, right? And so that's why I think you guys are gonna really like this a lot. So I'm gonna try to give you a little background on this, of course, as usual. The other thing I was gonna tell you that's also included, I haven't mentioned, is that there's some videos on the techniques. So even if you didn't pick up one of the earlier volumes where the techniques are taught, he teaches the techniques again as well. So you literally could just pick this up even if you haven't picked up his earlier volumes. Now, if you're like me, then you're probably carrying around with you a stack of pre-folded billets like this, because with this, you can entertain one person, you can entertain 2, or a whole group of people, which is why billet work is the real work when it comes to mentalism. It really is. Difficulty-wise, I would tell you guys that this project, I would say that it's like intermediate level. So if you're into mentalism and you're watching this, you probably can already do a very simple billet switch. I mean, it's really no-brainer. It's really easy. And with just a very minimal amount of practice and just actually going out and doing it, you will see how easy this is to perform. It really is. It's so simple. So let's get into the routines. The first routine is called Ring Peak. And this effect looks like this. You give the spectator a billet, you have them write something down, they fold it up, you put it in your wallet. You take your ring off and you have a chain and you make it into like a pendulum, and then you read their mind in real time, tell them what they're thinking of. If you're not into pendulums, you don't have to use that at all. Julien Losa gives you some other thoughts of what you can do instead, but I think the pendulum idea works perfectly. The peak is solid, and it's like perfectly well covered, and the move is stupid simple is what I'm gonna say. The one thing that you will need is you will need a mentalism wallet that has a specific feature to be able to do it. And I would say that if you've watched my reviews here on my channel, you probably have one of those mentalist wallets, like the Viper wallet or the Stealth Assassin wallet, because those are the wallets that I always recommend to people. And that feature is used in some, really underground type mentalism effects and routines. And I say underground because I haven't seen it exposed yet on YouTube. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, then I give a nod to you. And that is code for what I'm talking about. So if you're into mentalism and you read and you study mentalism, then you know exactly what routine I'm talking about when I say I give a nod to you, right? That's all I should have to say. But that's basically the idea or the concept that Julien Losa is using together with the billet to really get the information. So It's really, really clever, and it's something that you're going to use because it's really easy to do. Like I would say, like it's literally child's play. It's so simple. Anyway, that's the first effect, which is called Ring Peak. The second effect is Spectator as the billet worker, and this one was a favorite of mine. I used it a lot over the past 3 months because it's like a close-up effect one-on-one, and I perform a lot like that. In this routine, Julien Losa would take out 3 photos, and then on 3 billets, he would write down, you know, what's in each photo, fold them up, have the spectator mix them up, and then the spectator would use their intuition, get a sense of which billet belongs with which photo. Then the mentalist would open up each one to show them that they matched perfectly. That's what the effect is. It's very clever, and you could perform it just like that, but when I started road testing it, I found that the whole thing plays so much better if you just forget about any photos and just use the items that the spectator has with them. So for instance, like if I want to perform this for somebody and, you know, everybody has a cell phone. So, you know, you tell them to take out their cell phone and maybe they have a couple other items there. And you say, okay, let's put those out. You show them you show them the papers that they're blank. You say, I'm going to write something down on each one. You don't let them see what you're writing down. And you tell them, in a moment, I'll let you see it. It'll make sense. And then you have them use their intuition, you know, to tell you which one to put it in front of. And then when you open it up and read it and show it to them, it's going to get a big reaction because you can write whatever you want. And I like to write something funny on each card. Like, for instance, I might write like, I really like your cell phone. Or nobody likes, you know, or whatever you want to put. It's like up to you. But it's not just the effect that they're using their intuition to match where it belongs, but also that you wrote something funny on each of the cards, which is what makes it just more, you know, more entertaining for the spectator. And because you're using their items, they're interested. Because if you take out 3 photos, it's gonna, first of all, it's gonna feel like a magic trick. And why would they even care about those, right? But if you're using their items, their things, they care about that stuff. And so that's how I've used this, and it really plays strong, and it's really easy to perform, and it's a lot of fun. So I think that this one's a real winner, and I think you're going to use it a lot. So the last effect in the project is called Yet Another Ultimate 3 Billet Test. And this is Julien Losa's take on the 3 billet test. I really wish that he had just called it the last word on the 3 billet test, because I feel like it really is the last word on it. And this comes directly from his working repertoire, what he uses on cruise ships. And just to give you guys a little bit of background information, like a little over a year ago, Julien Losa sent me an email. Once in a while, he'll send me an email about something because he does watch my reviews. So sometimes he'll ask me something about something I reviewed. In any event, he sent me this email and he said, hey, check out this performance of mine and tell me what you think. So I was like, okay. So I started watching this, and I'm watching this like just to enjoy it. You know, I didn't have my analytical glasses on. And somewhere along the way, I was like, wait a second, when did he get so far ahead? Like, I was like, whoa, I was totally fooled by it, because literally I was taken down the garden path, and somewhere along the way, Losa turned on the sprinklers on me, right? So I was like, what the heck? So I watched it again, but this time I watched it really carefully, right? And of course, I figured it out, but I was like, whoa, that's so bold. And the only reason I would tell you guys I think I really figured it out was because I know the man. I know his work. I've studied his work. Otherwise, I would have been completely lost, right? And that's why I think this is so fooling for just lay people in general. So this 3 billet test looks like this. You have 3 people come up on stage, or 3 people participate. You have one person think of an important year to them. The second person thinks of someone that's important to them in their life. And then the third person thinks of something they can draw. They're given 3 pieces of paper to write down their thoughts. And then they're dumped into the mentalist pocket, mixed up by a spectator. And then one of the spectators takes out one of the billets, puts it in the mentalist's hand, and they get a sense of who it belongs to. And they're like, oh, this one belongs to you. Open it up, make sure it's yours. Yeah, it's yours. Okay, now I'm getting a sense of what it is. And then you reveal your impression right there. It's like, it's direct mind reading. And then The next spectator, you do the same thing. You have another spectator reach in the pocket, take out another billet, put it in your hand, get a sense of who it belongs to, and again, read their mind in real time. So that's what the effect looks and feels like. In some aspects, it's similar to some other 3-billet tests because you have psychometry involved and divination. But this is very unique because you either have routines like Chris Carter's routine where the mentalist is opening up the papers and figuring out who it belongs to, and then you have other type of 3-billet tests where the mentalist divines the information but has to reopen the billet to check and see if they were right. But in this routine, you don't have any of that, because in this routine, the mentalist is, figuring out which billet belongs to who without having to open it in any way, and it's never opened. And that's why this routine is really powerful. And this is what makes it unique, which is why I call this like the last word on the 3-billet test. That's really what he should have called. That's what he should have called it. So I think that this plays really well if you're going to perform in a structured environment like parlor or stage. But if you're like me, that I perform really close up with people, I had an issue with one of the moves that made a little bit of noise, because oftentimes I'm performing like with 8 people right up close to me, like at the nurse's station. And so I had an issue with a little bit of noise of one of the moves. And because of that, I came up with my own handling where I sidestep the move completely, but it stays true to the structure that Julien Losa came up with this routine. And I will share my thoughts with Julien Losa. Like, I'll share with him like what I've come up with. If he likes it, maybe he'll share it with you guys. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that this routine is pure gold. And I think that you guys are really going to like it a lot. Even if you're like me, that I perform like close-up mentalism all the time, I did learn and practice the version that Julien Losa teaches, because every now and then I perform in a structured environment, and this is perfect for that if you're going to be performing like in a parlor environment where there's some ambient noise. So for those reasons, I think that this is absolutely pure gold. And again, like I said before, it's not every day that a professional mentalist is sharing with you part of their working repertoire. Anyway, it's really hard for me to say anything negative about this project because I think it's just pure gold. You're going to learn techniques that are like priceless. You're going to learn routines that are amazing, and you're going to get a lot of different ideas and tips along the way. So that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you guys about this project. As usual, if you have any questions about this or any comments, or you want to know something about it, just leave me a comment below. I'll be happy to answer it. And that's pretty much it. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you on the next review.